Every single day, whether we realize it or not, there's this invisible battle being fought over our digital lives. Think about it. Your emails, your private messages, your late-night thoughts, it's all data. And right now, data is pretty much the most valuable and, honestly, the most vulnerable resource on the planet. Today, we're diving deep into the future of that battle.
So, let me ask you this. Are the messages you sent today, the ones you think are protected by unbreakable encryption, are they actually safe? The really scary answer is maybe not. There's this strategy some folks are using called harvest now, decrypt later. Basically, they're scooping up massive amounts of our encrypted data today and just waiting for the day when a powerful enough computer can crack it all wide open.
And that idea leads us straight into the middle of the great privacy debate of our time. It's this fundamental tug of war, right? Between our right to have a private conversation and a government's need to have access to, well, everything, all in the name of public safety.
Now, what's so fascinating here is how this whole conflict is framed. The goal of these online safety laws sounds great on paper, protecting people, especially the vulnerable. But the method? That's where it gets tricky. It often involves forcing tech companies to scan our private messages, or even weaken the very encryption that protects all of us. It's a classic case of a solution that might just create a whole new world of problems.
And make no mistake, this isn't just some local squabble. It's a global human rights issue. You've got international bodies like the United Nations throwing up red flags, basically saying, hey, hold on a second. They argue that weakening encryption for any reason is a really slippery slope that could trample on the fundamental rights of millions of ordinary, law-abiding citizens all over the world.
Okay, so with that pretty high-stakes picture painted, let's zoom in on something that could be a total game changer. A company called PQ-Mail is coming to the table with a really radical new approach, not just for today's threats, but for the threats that are coming tomorrow. They're building what they call a quantum-proof solution. At the very heart of PQ-Mail is this idea, post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. So what on earth is that? Well, to put it simply, it's the next chapter in encryption. It's a brand new set of super complex math problems designed to be so tough that even a future quantum computer, a machine that could literally shatter today's encryption in seconds, can't solve them. And this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. Nope. PQ-Mail is building a real, multi-layered defense using specific algorithms that have been standardized by NIST. It's like a three-part security system. They use one part for the initial secure handshake, another to digitally sign and prove a message is authentic, and a third to actually encrypt the message itself. You put those all together, Kyber, Dilithium, and SPHS+, and you've built a seriously formidable digital fortress.
And they're serious about this. To make it all a reality, the team is looking for $1.5 million in seed funding. That money is specifically meant to build out the platform, put it through intense security testing, and ultimately bring this next-generation privacy tool to all of us.
So where's that cash going? You can tell a lot about a company's priorities by looking at their budget. A massive 60% is going straight into engineering, the brain power to build this thing right. And look at this, another 15% is for security audits. That is absolutely crucial for building trust. It shows they're not just trying to build a product, they're trying to build a product that is provably, verifiably secure.
But here's the thing, there's always a but, right? When you build a tool this powerful, a tool that offers truly private, maybe even unbreakable communication, well, you are inevitably putting yourself on a collision course with governments that want to keep their access to our data.
First up, you've got the Cloud Act in the United States. This law basically gives U.S. law enforcement a very long arm. They can demand data from American tech companies, and here's the kicker. It doesn't matter if that data is stored on a server in California or one in Switzerland. If you're a U.S. company, you can be forced to hand it over.
Then, let's hop across the pond to the UK, where the pressure continues with the Online Safety Act. This law can actually force companies to use technology to scan user messages. Now, for an end-to-end encrypted service, where the company itself can't see the messages, well, you see the problem. It's a fundamental conflict. You just can't scan what's invisible to you.
And then we go down to Australia and their TOLA Act. This one might just be the most direct of them all. It gives government agencies the power to force a service provider to actively help them bypass encryption, to essentially remove the very electronic protection that a service like PQMail is built on.
So when you lay it all out like this, side by side, you see a really clear global pattern emerging. Major governments are creating legal toolkits specifically designed to push back against the idea of truly secure, private communication. For a company like PQMail, it really does start to feel like a classic David versus Goliath story.
So the big question becomes, how on earth can a company that's all about privacy possibly survive this kind of pressure? The first and most obvious thought is, well, to run for cover, to find a safe haven, a country where the laws are a bit more friendly to privacy.
You know, the usual suspects come to mind. Places like Switzerland, with its famous data protection laws, or maybe Iceland, which has this fierce commitment to free expression. And these countries do offer stronger legal shields, but in a world with laws like the Cloud Act that can reach across borders, is just changing your company's mailing address really enough?
And this is the twist. This is the crucial insight. The ultimate defense isn't found on a map. It's not about finding some clever legal loophole in a far-off country. No, the most powerful strategy of all is technical. It's baked right into the code itself. This is the master stroke. It's called a zero-knowledge architecture. It's a system designed from the ground up so that the company, PQMail itself, has literally zero ability to access your data. They don't have the keys, they can't decrypt your messages. So, if a government shows up with a court order demanding user data, the company can honestly just throw up its hands and say, "We literally can't." It is technically impossible. This one move makes geography almost irrelevant.
And that leaves us with this huge, critical question for the future, doesn't it? The law is always playing catch-up with technology. So what happens when a technology like this, post-quantum crypto, combined with a zero-knowledge design, creates a truly impenetrable shield for our data? When the tech makes the law itself unenforceable, who ultimately wins? That's a story we're all going to have to watch unfold.